Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you my live paper crafting class that I have each week, usually Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. Central Time, and today is Wednesday at 11 a.m. It is July 17th, 2024. I have a fun card idea for you today. I actually have 5 versions of that card, but I was very excited because I finally got the other half of the bundle for the sophisticated sled. I thought, have you done this, you guys? I thought I had purchased my bundle. Demonstrators get to pre-order stuff the month before products go live, and products went live this month for some online exclusives. And one of them was a bundle called Sophisticated Sled, stamps and dies. That's what I mean by a bundle. I thought I'd order the bundle. I ordered just the stamp set. And so it was like, I don't know, a day or two before all the products were going to go live to everybody else. And I discover when my order comes that I only have the stamps. And I'm like, oh, so bummed. So I immediately placed an order for the dies, and now I have them, and now I've created some cards, and I just couldn't stop creating. I actually created 4 cards and thought I was done. And then took my pictures, did my little blurb for announcing the live, and then I was like, I have another idea. So I have 5 card ideas for you today. And welcome to all of you. A big welcome to those of you that came early. And I see Sandra saying, oops, I'm late. It's okay. I'm glad that you came. And if you're watching after the live, that's great too. Please comment. Say hello if you're watching. Unless you're not logged in. But if you're logged in, chime in, say hello. Your comments get you entered into a prize drawing. We have a live prize drawing, so we'll do a drawing during the live, while it's live. And Trisha calls out the names for that at the end. And then we will do a drawing a week later. So I have for you winners from last week's live to announce during the prize time as well. So you have like a week to get in on it. I hope that you're all well. I saw that some people are experiencing storms and power outages, and some people are experiencing hot, humid weather, but hopefully everyone's healthy and well. To those of you who are struggling with health right now, I hope that things improve for you. We always want to send well wishes to everybody. To those of you that are new, thank you and welcome to my channel. I want to introduce you to Trisha Josephs again. She's my moderator on YouTube, and then we also have Lisa Marshall on Facebook, and they are there to help answer questions because while I'm doing the live and while it's being recorded, I get distracted easily if I read too many comments, so it's good for me not to look at too many of them as we go. And so they help to answer questions along the way. So we'll get started. In this video, we're going to do some outside-in folds again. Now, I had shared some folds back in January. I came up with this card idea and I thought it was brilliant, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing similar card folds to it out there. So sometimes that happens, right? We think we have an idea and it's someone else's idea as well. And so I've been loving the take on it that I've been seeing other people do with a diamond shape versus the rectangle. And so I'm sharing that with you today. It's a diamond fold. Some people call it the diamond fold. I've heard it called the diamond flip fold. I termed it diamond outside in because that's the name I came up with before I actually found other names for it. And so that's what we're going to call it today. Hope that's okay with you. Basically, what you see is the front image, but it flips to the inside or goes from the outside to the in as you open up the card. We have people from all over the world, you guys. This is so much fun. Thanks, Sandra, for stopping by and saying hello. Okay, so we have, what else to announce? I think I'm going to move to the measurement and supply list because that's always fun to see at the beginning so that you can either screenshot it and follow along if you're a really speedy stamper, or you can wait until the blog post goes live. My videos are connected to a blog post, and I would typically make that blog post go live at the same time, but I like to add in winners each week. So when I have the winners at the end of the blog post, then I go in, I add that, and I make the blog post go live. So shortly after the video is done, today it will be 12:15, so an hour and 15 minutes after the live begins, you'll be able to click on the link that's right now in the YouTube description. You'll be able to click on that link and see the blog post that has this PDF that you can download if you'd like. You can also see photos of all the cards I'm sharing. The measurements are in there, a visual supply list if you want to see the products and click on them to shop. And yes, you can shop products from my online store. So here is the PDF. The PDF also has clickable links for most of the products. So you just hover over the top and it will take you to, when you click on it, take you to that product in the online store. So here are the measurements. Here are pictures of the first 4 cards, and then this is the 5th one I created afterwards. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have pictures of all of them on the PDF today. So the measurements are going to be a little more vague, like base cardstock or pattern designer paper, okay? Also note that when I share more than one card, typically there are more supplies. The supplies that go up to the word sponge here are the main supplies that I'm using for the first full card, but I've also got the other supplies listed underneath that, okay? Oh gosh, it's so fun to see your comments roll in. I wish I could say hello to all of you. That doesn't quite happen, does it? But I'm saying it in a general way. I'm so grateful that you're all here. All right, so we're going to start by showing you the Sophisticated Sled bundle. Again, this is a new release this month in the online exclusives, which means it's not in a publication, but you can shop for it online. In fact, if you go online to shop for anything, oops, wrong thing, here it is. If you shop for products in the online store, you're going to see it all. The publications don't have them all. Publications are divided up. We have an annual catalog, we have 2 mini catalogs, and then we have flyers once in a while. But if you go to the online store, you're going to see it all, just so you know, okay? All right, so Sophisticated Sled, awesome, right? But it's right here in the Northern Hemisphere. It's summer, Rachel. I know, but I decided to wear my turtleneck and get into winter with all of you today because if you make Christmas cards or holiday cards or whatever, you kind of want to get in on that sooner than later, which is why I'm so glad that they released some holiday, winterish, Christmas, whatever, some products that we can make those cards with. And so Sophisticated Sled is adorable. First of all, it has skates in it. And myself growing up, my dad would flood our front yard and we'd get to skate pretty much every year of my childhood. I loved it. We'd make pom-poms for our skates. All the kids in the neighborhood would come over. We'd pipe out music to the front yard. It was a blast. Another thing that came later in my life is my dad had access to an older sled. I don't know if it was his original sled or if it was one from that era or whatever, but he has a sled like this. And we do a lot of sledding now that our kids are around. My parents moved up north to the cabin and we have lots of hills. So now our big winter event is sledding. So this stamp set and die set really call out to me. Okay, so now let's move over to some scraps because we're going to start stamping and die cutting. First, let's take our basic white scrap. I have a pretty large one and, oh, I haven't even mounted my stamps yet. Okay, so we're going to take and mount the wreath. So I'm going to peel that up, put that face down. We're going to also take the skates and stamp those. I'll leave the sentiments there for now because I'm not sure how far we'll get into all of these cards. But let's go ahead and mount our skates and our wreath. And that's how I mount them. I mount them so that they've relaxed for a while on my desktop. I got a little piece of dust there. So that they've relaxed a little while on my desktop so that they don't have distorted shapes. And then I just pick them up with my stamps. So this one's going to get stamped in Pretty Peacock. I have lots of colors. And if you're looking at like a screenshot of that PDF that I had just shared with you, we're not going in order yet, okay? So Pretty Peacock ink is listed towards the bottom of the supply list. I know, kind of odd. We're just going to do some parts and pieces right now. I'm going to open this. No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use another clear block and just kind of grab a bunch of ink onto it like that from our Pretty Peacock pad. We're bringing in a blender pen with it too. If you guys used blender pens before, they're awesome. And now we're going to move to Smoky Slate. And we're just going to ink that up, the skates up with the Smoky Slate ink. And because we're doing scraps, it doesn't really matter where I'm stamping. I just want to stamp and have these ready so that we can cut them out. So I'm going to close that up. I'm going to set that stamp aside. And I'm going to bring in my blender pen and zoom in a bit here, okay? The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take our blender pen. It doesn't matter which end. They're both the same. I think I've used this one more often in this color, but you can always like run them till they're clear. Even if they have like a tinted tip to them like this one does, it doesn't mean that it's got color in it still. It's just stained, okay? All right, so we're gonna take and pull color from the edges of these leaves. Do you see what I'm doing here? And I'm just gonna go around the wreath and do it super fast. I'm ignoring the really round small pieces. There are some rounder ones that are more like like these here, right? But they're more of a blob. And then I've got these here, and those look more like berries. So I'm going to leave them. What I want to do is just pull color from the edges to get a tint of that Pretty Peacock ink in here and give these leaves a slightly greener hue than we had when they were just white. All right, so that's what I have now. Okay, it's tinted. It's very faint though. I'm going to run that till it's clear if I want to dip into a new color. But I don't. Why did I do that? I don't need to run it till it's clear. Okay, we're going to dip into this ink now, and we're just going to swirl it around and kind of get it onto our blending brush. I'm sorry, not blending brush, blender pen. We have so many products that start with the word blend. And now I'm going to start at the base of these leaves, and I'm going to come up and in just to kind of feather up some of that color. And right now I have lots of color on this blender pen. I probably could have run it clear for a while. There, now it's softer. And we're just going to come into those leaves a little bit more so that we have deeper, darker leaves than we did before. And as we do this, you can see them start to lighten. Like this one here, it's getting it's getting a lighter hue. So I'm just going to dip into the more wetter looking area here, and then I'll bring in some more color. And we're just going to go around and around the wreath. So these are pretty dark here, so let's darken these up a bit more just by dipping the end in. And I wanted to do that coloring beforehand because what that gave me was a base that had a light green tinting. So it was like I had two colors, like I had a light bluish green, and now I have the dark bluish green coming in to add in shading, okay? So, and if you start at the base, that's where your deepest color is going to go. And as you move out, you're going to get a lighter shade. So just like watch this happen. So I'm going to start here and go out so you can see it starts to lighten on my grid paper. So we'll go around and we'll do that. And you don't have to be an artist to do this, seriously. Like, I mean, I took some art classes, but I was not like an art major or anything. So yeah, this feels really easy to do. I love blender pens. They work with any water soluble ink. So you could use them with your watercolor pencils. You could use them with any of the classic ink pads. Anything that's water-based will work with the blender pens. So don't get these confused with blends markers. Those are alcohol-based and they have color within. And these are not blending brushes. Blending brushes just take and help blend colors onto your paper in a kind of a brush format, like a very, very light, fine sponge or dauber, type of thing. All right, so now we have our wreath colored in, except for the berries. So we're gonna move over to our other coloring tools. So I'm just introducing a couple coloring tools to you. We'll put that aside. We'll close this up. I ran it till it was clear. We can move that aside. And now I'm bringing in some blends markers. These are our Stampin' Blends markers, Moody Mauve Light and Dark and Cherry Cobbler Light and Dark. And blends markers are alcohol-based. They work great with water-based outline ink. So they're going to work great with on here without making that color bleed. If I were to take, say, the Cherry Cobbler and Moody Mauve water-based ink and try to do some blending in here, it might pull in some of the green ink, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to start with my light Moody Mauve. So sometimes you need a little bit of everything, right? And I'm just going to dab in some color into these berries. And some of you are saying, oh, you should make them redder. And I will. But right now I'm going with this color for the base color because you want to start with your lightest. I think that's the easiest to do. And then we're going to come in with just a little tip. And I'm using the tip rather than the bullet end just because it comes to a much finer point. But we're just going to add a little bit of color onto the berry edges on one side, just to kind of show that there's more light on one side of the berry than the other. Give it kind of a shine look, right? And so I'm doing that with just a tip of that marker. And if you look here, you can still see the light versus the dark. And if that bugs you, which it doesn't for me, but if it does, you can come in and kind of swirl in more light and it will help to blend those colors together. But it's such a tiny space. I'm totally fine with it. I'm going to come in with now a darker color, and you could do either the Cherry Cobbler dark or the Cherry Cobbler light for that, but I just want a little bit more shading, and I want it to have a cherry look too. I want it to be pink, but also that deep red, so that we get kind of a two-color tone in there. So those are my little berries. We're going to use the dark Cherry Cobbler soon, so don't put those away yet. So we've got these ready to go. And this is actually ready to go too. I'm not going to do any coloring on the skates. Let's bring the dies back in and let's line up things. So we're going to take this one. This is our outline that matches up with that stamp image. And we're going to lay it down. And when you lay down the dies, let me find my Post-it sticky notes here. When you lay down the dies, and I'm throwing things, when you put these down onto the images, you have to look real closely at the whole surrounding image and make sure that you can see it within. And then you can put this Post-it note like over the top of the paper and the dies. If you have a Post-it note or sticky note, it tends to grab like everything, which is great. Okay, and next we're going to do this one. And this one might be a little bit harder to line up, but if you look in the center of the wreath, that will help you out a little bit more with getting things in the right spot. And there we go. So there's the connection there, making sure that we see everything centered pretty darn well. And we're going to go across the paper and the dies. Okay, we're going to shove that off to the side. Then we're going to come and set up our machine. And I'm going to zoom out because I think I'm really close, and I am. All right, so for our machine, we want platform number 1, the die adapter plate number 2. We want a cutting mat number 3, and I've got my scratchiest one down because I'm going to put my cutting part of my dies down. Oh, thanks, Ramona. She said, I gave it the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Yes, if you're watching, can you please give the thumbs up or, subscribe, all that stuff. I really appreciate that. And thanks, Ramona, for that reminder. Okay, so now let's look at these dies. We're going to die cut the sled. We're going to die cut the skates, laces, and blades. And we're going to die cut the other part of the sled, which is the wooden part. So we're just going to lay those on there like this. Here's the skates. Again, cutting side down. Here's the blades and the laces. And you know what? We're going to have to run it through twice just because my papers are pretty big here and we want to make sure that we don't mess up the ones that we have Post-it notes or sticky notes on. So we'll do just 2 run-throughs here. So you hold on to the top of your die cutting machine. This is our big boss. We have a little boss too. They're called the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machines. They're by Stampin' Up. And they're awesome. You can emboss with them. You can die cut with them. They're compatible with lots of other companies' products. Okay, so we have that. There's our sled Oh, look at that. Isn't that fun? The wooden parts of the sled. Put those over here. We've got the frame of the sled. All those little pieces come out. Those would be great for like labels or accents or, you know, don't throw your scraps away, you guys. Okay, I'm gonna. So there we go. In the garbage. Okay, and then we've got our skates. So cute. Oh my gosh. And you could cut them out of black if you wanted to make the masculine form of the skate. I just know that when I was younger, it seemed like the boys' skates were always black and the girls' skates were always white. I don't know why. Maybe that's just the way. I like the nude skates that a lot of skaters wear in competitions. They're just, because they look like they're just like skating on their bare feet. It's so fun. I think, oh, here's one more. We need to get those out. And those I think I'm going to have to poke out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the 5th die. Let's toss this paper in the garbage. And a lot of you are like, oh my gosh, that's such a good pecan pie piece still. Yeah, I know. Okay, next we're going to die cut this one. And we're going to pick it up carefully so that our Post-it notes don't shift on us. And let's cut those out. And all of you are like, when are you going to get to the actual like fun fold part of the card? I'm getting to that soon. But we have to create all these fun things first because I have to show you this amazing bundle. And the bundle has so many different parts and pieces to it. Okay, so we have that done. Let's pull our sticky notes off and look at, they're still usable. They do not get cut when they're placed on top. All right, we have our skates, we have our wreath, we have the center of our wreath, and we still have to get those laces out of there. Let's toss these aside. Okay. Clean up. Clean up is very important when you're stamping, you know. All right, so I'm going to use the Take Your Pick tool. You can also get an attachment for the Take Your Pick tool, which is a die brush little adapter thing. I tend to like to just do pokies like this, which works as well. But if you have a big, huge detailed die, you could come in and brush the back side and your bristles will go into all of those little holes. So if I poke through all those holes, what I've got now is confetti because the laces have little holes between them. So we're just going to clean out that die so the next time we use it, it's ready to go and it doesn't have all of this stuff stuck inside. And we'll just brush that onto the floor. Okay. Now, let's bring back our pieces. Let's take a look at all of these. They're so fun, you guys. Ignore my little swatch of color there. Okay, we've got the wooden sled, which is going to attach like that. This piece is going to go on like this. We've got our wreath. We've got our skates. We've got our stamped skates. We've got our blades. And we've got our laces. Okay, let me zoom in. Let's show you what we got here. How do they go together? This piece goes across here. And there are actual little like nail holes. But if you take them out, then you can see the color underneath through there. So you can take them out or you can take and glue them. Oops, sorry. We gotta move. We gotta move, Rachel. You're not in the screen. There we go. So yeah, you could take them out or you could even color them in if that bugs you, or if you have tiny, tiny little brads, how cute would that be to have little nail holes in there? But yeah, these are little nail hole pieces. This here comes out too, so you can see between the boards. So all those little guys come out. Fun, right? And there's even some here to remove. So all of those. Okay. And that gets stuck on like that. And you have to have your nail holes, or whatever they're called, screw holes, going across those planks here. So, you know, make sure that you've got that, or otherwise it's going to look like your sled is kind of wonky. So after you've connected that, you'll have what I'll show you later on is the finished stuff. These are the skates. The skates go together in 3 parts. We have the blades. And for the blades, I'm going to use, here it is. I'm going to use a silicone sheet, and I'm going to take some of my glue from my cute cupcake holder from the Country Hive. I'm going to squirt some of that on. By the way, I noticed, and say hello, you guys, to Ashley Carlson. She is co-owner of the Country Hive, and I saw her name pop up before the live started. So if you're still with us, hello, Ashley. I love your stuff. Okay, we're going to take and sponge onto the back side. So I've added color, or I'm sorry, I've added glue onto my silicone sheet, and when that dries, it'll just peel up. It's so great. You could also use those adhesive sheets if you want to. You put it on your paper before you die cut. But now we have this cute little skate. And with this, thank you to Susan Campfield, my upline. She played around with this beforehand. We discovered, and I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe you're on live with us, but a fellow demonstrator, she said, I think it goes into the slot. So there's this little tiny slot in here, you see, or slit, whatever you want to call it. And that's where these little laces tuck in, like that. So you tuck that base in, and then it looks like your laces are right on your skate like that. It's so cool. So the other side is sticking out the back. Here's another one I did, just in case those colors weren't dark enough, the contrast, but this is done with the blueberry bushel color, like that. Does that make it easier to see? So super cute laces. All right, so we've got one skate put together. Our sled is not, that's okay. We're gonna do a little bit more with this wreath too, so I'm gonna keep that here. But let's shove these skates off to the side, and I'm gonna bring in this one here. Okay, so this one is, it's stamped and die cut. It makes it a little bit harder to give it that, maybe that look, the same look, right? But I figured out, and I don't know if you guys have figured this out too, those of you that own it, these blades are the same size. So you could totally stick these onto your skates that you've stamped. And then you have silver blades. It's so cool. So my blades on my skates growing up were not silver all the way through the sole of the boot here. So what I did on my finish card is I took and cut, grab my snips here, I took and cut the heel away and the base here so that I just had the blade. And that's what I stuck down onto my skate. Like that. Oh, my stomach's gonna make noise because I haven't had any food today, you guys. Oh, silly me. Should always eat. Okay, so there we go. And now we have shiny little blades on those skates. All right, the last thing I wanted to do on this one, and I'm gonna just sponge this and get this out of the way, get that all out of glue, and we'll set this out of the way. Okay, the last thing that I wanted to do on this piece was to embellish it with some rhinestones. So I'm going to pull those in. Rhinestones are one of the best basic embellishments. Like if you don't own rhinestones, I don't know what's wrong with you. Just kidding. But yeah, I mean, you could like stick them on your earlobes and you have instant earrings, or on your nose and, you know, make people think that you pierced your nose. I don't know. So let's go ahead and take and open this up and grab our Blends markers again. Blends markers are alcohol based. They write on and color non-porous surfaces. It's awesome. So we're going to use the dark Moody Mauve, and we're going to color onto one of these rhinestones here. And I'm going to do more after we're done with the live, but I just wanted to show you how to do one. And then with my dark cherry cobbler, I'm just going to add a little bit of color on one side of it. So I did the same thing I did with these little berries here on my wreath. And when I pick this up, and you can pick it up with your, take your pick tool too, but I'm going to lay this down next to, but not on the cherries, the berries that I already have there, just to give it more berries and to give a few berries a little bit of a, hey, here I am. Right? So can you imagine more of those all the way around your card? So you have lots of options with this bundle. There's so many options. I am now going to show you, and we're just going to set some stuff aside here so I know I have shared it already. There's garbage. Okay, alrighty. So now I'm going to show you how to make the fold. All right, the fold is similar to the fold that I shared back in January. And if you look up diamond fold, you might be able to see this out there too on Pinterest and stuff like that. So let's go now to our cardstock. We're going to use for one of our cards, Pool Party. So we're going to start with that because it matches my pretty fingernails. My fingernails are the same color as last week, you guys. This is Honest Sky, which is a clearance color, and this one is Sugar Cookie. So if you're interested in those, the link is in the description of my video. And if you're watching on Facebook, I always transfer the description of my video over after the live is done also, so you'll be able to access that information if you're interested. But yeah, clearance, hello. Okay, so we're going to cut this in half at 4 1/4 inches, and then we're going to rotate. Set this over here for now. We're going to rotate and we're going to extend the arm of our trimmer so that we have even more measurements to work with. Something's frozen. Oh my gosh, you guys, seriously? I hope not. Oh, please say it's not frozen. Frozen screen? No. I'm going to keep going. I'm assuming that it's, let's see, gone in and out, still frozen. Yep, frozen here, froze again. This is not good. I hate it when it freezes, especially halfway through. I'm going to go to Facebook really quick here and see if Trisha has messaged me. No message yet. Shoot. I'm going to keep going. No. Oh, it's not frozen here? Not frozen there. Not frozen on Facebook. YouTube is frozen, but Facebook is not. I'm going to message that. Okay. YouTube is frozen. Facebook is not. Let's see if that brings some people on over. Okay, thanks, Trisha. Trisha also sent the message on over. Great. Well, I'm going to keep going and hope that this stays recorded because it's looking great in my screen. I'm not sure what's happening. Okay, now we're going to score halfway at 5 1/2 inches. And then we're going to score again at 8 3/4 inches. So I'm moving this end to 8 3/4 inches. And then we're going to trim 1/8 of an inch off of this side. So when you look at the measurements on the PDF or in the blog post, you're going to see that it's going to say 10 7/8 by 4 1/4 instead of 11 by 4 1/4. But that's where I did the trimming, was on the end. Another way that you could cut this, and I'll just demonstrate it with this navy one. So here is my 11-inch piece. I'm going to trim it down now. So I'm going to show you, actually no, I'm not going to show you that because I want to show you this tip. So you can score it at 5 1/2, and then you can score it again at 2 3, 2 1/4. That's kind of like the opposite measurement. And then you take and flip it around and you trim off that 1/8 of an inch. Now you're going to see on some of the other card folds similar to this that they don't trim that off. They actually use it. But I wanted a slightly different look on mine. So that's why I did it that way. So there's a little bit exposed here. So now we're going to rotate. I'm going to take both my Pool Party and my Night of Navy cardstock, and I'm going to put them together, go to the 2 1/8 inch mark, which is halfway between, in the middle of 4 1/4 inches. And we're just going to make a little bit of a cut into that end that has the extra score line. Here's that extra score line side, right? So we have a little cut there, and it's okay that it went in, gosh, over 1/8 of an inch. It's totally fine. But what I wanted was that to be pretty dominant so we could see it. And we're going to line that cut up with this little spot here, and you may not be able to see this with this dark cardstock. I may have to show you with the Pool Party. Let's see here. Okay, so I'm going to cut. Can you guys see those score lines in the navy? If you can't, I'll do it again with Pool Party. But now I'm going to use this line here, the horizontal line on my trimmer, and I'll bring this edge to that horizontal line and connect that point and make sure that this is staying on that horizontal line. That's giving me a square corner. Okay, so I've got that. Let's just do the same with this one in case you can see this better. And actually, I kind of think I needed to do this card base anyways because it matches my Honest Sky fingernail polish. Okay, so we're going to line that up. You can. Okay, good. This mark is better, right? So we're going to cut there, line this up on my trimmer with the horizontal line. My hair is getting in my face. By the way, did you guys notice my hair is different today? I'm wearing a different topper. This is called Breeze. It's by the same company, Uniwigs, and I did a video on it. I love it because it's lighter weight than my other one. It's the same density, but it feels so much lighter, and it's made out of a different top. So in the summer, like, I feel no heat. It's very breathable. I love it. It's called Breeze. Woohoo! Okay, so here's the score lines. And that, by the way, is in the description of my video too. Because I share nails and hair, little links to those. Okay, we're going to move this off to the side. And I'm going to bring in some other things here. So yeah, we used Night of Navy, Pool Party, and we also used, in the finished cards, Pretty Peacock on the ones that I have or will be showing you, okay? So we're going to put those there. We also need, with those card bases, thanks for coming on over to Facebook, you guys, and thanks, Virginia. Thanks for coming on over. I'm sorry it was freezing up on YouTube. I can see on my computer that it's still kind of at the wreath spot. I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm going to keep going and pray that it records. Okay, so we've got also some 3x3 squares. These are all 3x3 for our card bases. So you need those for your base of your card. For layers that go onto, whoops, things are flying. For layers that go onto that middle 3x3 square, we need a layer that is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So I'm just going to cut my 12 by 12 silver foil here. Your foil papers come in 12 by 12. We're going to cut here at 2 3/4. And in fact, I think I can get like 4 of them from this sheet. So we're just going to keep going. Because for my finished cards, I think there are 4 that we have the silver in them. So now we have our pretty silver layers that are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then our black, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. You'll see the card that I've used the black on. So we're going to put those over here. And then our other layers are just under 2 3/4. So we have a 3x3 for the base. We have 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 for a layer. And then we have just under, which is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8. And I've got that in a few different pieces. Plus I have an even tinier one. And this one's going to go on the finished wreath card. And this one is 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. The other measurements for cardstock are, for our white inside layer that we stamp and write on, it is 3 1/8 by 4 inches tall. And our little sentiment strips are either 1/4 inch by 2 1/4 or 1/2 inch by 2 inches, depending on the card that you'll see. The last thing that we need to cut for our cards is our designer paper. So let's bring in our designer paper. Yay! And have I seen the new paper pumpkin? I've only seen pictures of it. I get my paper pumpkins, I'm average. I get mine like smack dab in the middle, the time that most people get them, like the 19th, 20th, 21st sometimes. So I immediately get on and create with them, but no, I'm never one of the early birds. Never. I get jealous, just as a lot of you do, I'm sure, too. Seeing all of those people with their kits right away. If you don't know what paper pumpkin kits are, check it out in my website. You can go to stampyourartout.com and you can click on paper pumpkin and learn about it. But that's a whole different video. Okay, alrighty, so we have designer paper. This designer paper is called Thoughtful Journey, and you actually get 48 sheets of it. There are 4 of each of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, 4 of each of the 12 double-sided designs. And you can see on the front, there's more of like a side A, and then on the back, it's more like side B. Although there's a couple in here where you're like, oh, that could be side A and side A, depending, you know, so just lots of fun, pretty designs. Watercolory too, right? Gotta love that. And then we have another set of designer papers that I used on these cards. And you get 12 by 12 sheets of this, but I do not have full 12 by 12 for all of the designs because I have used this up to that point where I, you know, yeah, cut into my extras. So here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double-sided designs. You have 12 designs, right? They're 6 double-sided. And then you get 12 sheets. So you actually get 2 of each of these. So we have this one with the reindeer in the trees. We have just some blue trees and a grayish background. We have some berries and a greenish background. We have these bluish berries and a really nice bright blue background. And then we have this one with a misty greenish pool party-ish color on that side. So to cut for your cards, I'm going to grab one of these pieces here and I'm going to cut it at 4 inches. Our white layer, remember, is 4 inches tall. We want our layers to be 4 inches tall. This one we can cut straight in half. We can cut it at 3 inches and we will have a front and an inside piece. But there is one more designer paper piece, and if you want to, you could use your paper in this way. You could cut your 2 by 4 inch piece from this piece that's left over, but just know that on your card, and I'll show you the finished one here, on your card, here's where that goes. Here's where this goes, right? This one would go like that, and it would be facing the opposite direction, so your sky wouldn't look the same, if that makes sense. It would be going this way. So you can look at your paper and decide, is it going to work with that or not? If not, then you just grab a second sheet of 6 by 6 and you cut from that. So we're just going to cut a 2 inch piece here. And you should be able to get 3 of those from another sheet. So there you go. So there's that for that card. From the 12 by 12 cards, designer paper, gosh, you can get it all from one strip. You can also take your scraps, right? You can always take scraps and cut 4 by 3 or 4 by 2 inch pieces from that. So let's take these and we'll assemble that card. It's really quick and easy. We're going to fold in half using our bone folder. By the way, remember I mentioned the Country Hive and that Ashley is with us. I'm going to fold this one in this direction too. I don't know if she's still with us, but she is the co-owner of the Country Hive, and they make these fun little glue holders and they make adhesive caddies. I've shown you these before. They make, gosh, marker holders, right? Can you see that? I've got an extra one on here because I use that for my blender pens. Containers for ink refills. They make all kinds of things, you guys. So you want to check them out. This is what I put my embellishments in. They're having a sale. They're having a sale today. So you'll want to check out thecountryhive.com. 15% off yesterday and today. So it's in conjunction with the Amazon Prime sale. So I hope that you enjoy that. I'm going to grab my glue now. Got my glue. And I'm going to put this one on the front. The nice thing about using glue versus seal, because a lot of you guys see me using seal all the time, right? Is that it's user-friendly. It's much easier to use. And it can wiggle. So if I don't put it down in the right place, see how I'm moving it a little bit? I can wiggle it into place. It helps if you don't have a steady hand, if you have a little bit of shaking or something. This is awesome. It helps for beginners because the seal adhesive, it's got a learning curve to it. I have to admit, I mean, it took me a while. I was frustrated at first, but now it works for me like a breeze. So again, we have that wiggle room. This piece goes on the inside, this piece goes on the outside, because again, your card is going to show this image outside and inside. Okay? Then we've got this piece, and this one goes on the opposite side on the inner panel, but it pretty much looks like it's on the outside of the card. And if it's cut in a spot that seems weird to you, it's okay, because there's this huge gap in between with the white layer that you're going to stamp first, because in case you make a mistake, you can stamp it, oops, flip it over, stamp it again. So don't stick that down until you've stamped it. But yeah, you have that big enough gap where the trees don't have to look like they're right next to each other and connected, okay? All right, this piece goes on. And this piece goes on like that. You have to first fold this back, okay, this little tab here. And then you take your 3x3 square that is the same color. Well, it doesn't even have to be the same color, but it's the same color in my case. And you put that on. And what will help is if you line it up on your grid paper with your vertical and horizontal lines, right? And you make sure that your point is connecting the same spot on the top and bottom. I shifted mine over just a tad because I wanted this to not go beyond the designer paper. Okay, plus it makes it easier for using 6x6 designer paper, because this piece does not have to be 3 1/8 now. It can be 3 inches, and this can be 3 inches. So you can make the most out of your 6x6 designer paper with the measurements I give you in today's video. So there's the base look. Then you take one of your silver foil pieces, because we want a little silver accenting, but that's way too much. So we stamp on this with a whole bunch of snowflakes from the stamp set and stick that down. So we see just a 1/16 or a hint of silver foil on there now. And then we stick on our skates that we've assembled with dimensionals, and we put rhinestones on there. And our little sentiment piece came from the 1/2 inch by 2 inch piece, and I just stamped the Let It Snow. And on the inside, I hope your days are filled with fun and laughter. So that is the first of the cards. And I'm just going to show you the finished cards now, okay? The next one is the wreath card. And the wreath card is done with the other set of designer paper, the Winter Meadow one, the obviously Pool Party base. We've got a silver layer here, plus a white on top. And then I use that smaller square right here on that section. And here we have the wreath with 1, 2, 3 little rhinestones that have been colored. And you can see them sparkle, I think. Yes. And then we've got the 1/4 inch by 2 1/4 inch sentiment piece coming out of the wreath like that. This wreath is up on dimensionals, and this is up on dimensionals. So I have the dimensional under the corners, and I have them under the wreath so that they're not on top of the corners. Does that make sense? You don't want your dimensionals to layer up too high, or it makes it harder for you to actually put your card in the mail. All right, so that's the outside, and then the inside is Let's Decorate the Season with Happiness. And that is that card. And then we have another skating card. This is the one where I cut my blades and attached them to the stamped image. And then this was not, I did originally stamp that the same way as this one, but it seemed very busy, so I decided to get rid of the snowflakes in the background on that one. This is more of the Thoughtful Wishes, Thoughtful Journey, I forgot the name of the paper already. That paper, the first paper that I used here, I used on this card. So the skating cards have the same paper. And then we have this one. You probably were all like, why is she using black? What's happening with the black? Let me move these out of the way here so you can see all of this. Okay, so with the black, I thought a lot of people, they like to do photo cards for the holidays. So let's do a photo card version. So that is what the black paper is for, just to represent the photo. So you could put your family photo here, and when you take the photo, put it into square mode for like an Instagram photo, right? And then tilt the camera. Tilt the camera so it's in a diamond shape. Take the photo, get it developed, and then you can trim it to size. You know, make sure that you take it far enough away, because your photo is actually going to be about this big when it's printed off. So make sure that they're smaller in that little diamond shape, and then you can trim it up and fit your photo in there. And you can see the photo no matter how you display your card for the holidays, however your recipient displays it. You can even make a vertical version if people like to pin up their cards on refrigerators or whatever. This is kind of nice because you can have the photo up here and your words and what you write. So, and I just stuck one skate on there. So if you're trying to save time on making holiday cards, you can die cut 2 at a time. And then you can get through your cards faster. Instead of putting 2 cards on every card, or 2 skates on every card, you put 1, okay? And then the 5th idea is the one with the sled. I just love this pattern paper from that one pack. It's so pretty. This is also pattern paper. This is the back side of the one here. So, because it already had like a snowy, icy look to it, and I thought it was perfect. I tilted the sentiment on the sled, tucked it under a bit. But yeah, I just use rhinestones for all my embellishments. Isn't that fun, you guys? I hope that you got inspired. I hope that you didn't feel too cold when you were watching me make these cards. There's another sale going on tomorrow, by the way. So after the Country Hive sale is done today, after you've shopped small and supported small businesses, and then also shopped on Amazon if you want to do that because it's Prime Days, you can go over to Stamp and Storage tomorrow, because Stamp and Storage is the one who provides me with much of my larger size pieces. So like my cardstock rack over there, those are all Stamp and Storage that I painted black. This is Stamp and Storage, corner pieces, these guys, that. I don't even know if you can see all of that, but I have a ton of things in my room that are Stamp and Storage, and they're having a sale starting tomorrow. So you can shop from both of my favorite storage places today and starting tomorrow. Tomorrow it goes through the 22nd. I wanted to point that out. Also with Stampin' Up, we do have a sale going on with Stampin' Up. It's called Bonus Days, and it goes through the end of this month. You have till the end of July to make at least a $50 purchase, and when you do, you get a $5 coupon. So you can get as many coupons as you want depending on how much you purchase, and then in August you can redeem those coupons. So you can place a $55 order, let's say, and get $5 off. That way you still get a loyalty point from me. Loyalty points are good. Anyways, just know that when you use those coupons, it does reduce the amount of your order. So if you're in a club with some other demonstrator, or you're trying to get to a certain price point or whatever, just know that that reduces it. So you want to go over and then use the coupons to get that extra stuff. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's any other announcements before we move on to prizes. No, I think I covered it all really fast today, you guys. All right, prizes. Let me remember what we did last week. It was, I want to say it was these, but I have to look. I'm going to go on my computer and check, you guys, because I don't recall, and I do not want to mess up and tell you the wrong thing. I already have the prize winners picked out. I just have to pull up my prize list, and we still have some people who haven't claimed prizes. You have a month to do that. So reach out to me if your name is Amy Todd, Patty Geldert, Linda Lewis, Sandy Weir, Glenda Ball, Belinda Alanez, Lisa Oberly, and Rita Horning. Haven't heard from you guys. You have prizes coming to you. So the prize from last week, the live, were the small and the large blending brush. You get one of each. So my after live winners, which I have now, I'm going to go ahead and bring you over to my computer screen. There we go. We have Kay Dolan Skidmore as one of our winners. She is the winner from the Facebook comments. And then on YouTube, we have my Rakager. Oh, hang on. It's Myra Kerger. There we go. Myra Kerger 5413 from the YouTube comments. And you two are winners of blending brushes, but you have to reach out to me at my email address that you see there. Okay, now we're going to come back, and I'm going to click on something on my my videos here to see if I can see my winners. So Trisha does the drawing of the, oh, I haven't even said the prize yet. Hang on. The prize If you've already said it, that's fine, Trisha. But if you haven't yet, here's the prize. We have for our winners, they get a blender pen, and a Tombow glue, a multi-purpose Tombow glue. So yay, you get those. And this would look lovely in the little cupcake holder. So one of each to the winners. And I'm just checking to see if she's announced them yet. I don't see the winners announced yet, but we will definitely put those names up when we see them because I got to call them out. I got to tell you who they are. In the meantime, while I'm waiting for Trisha to post those winners, I do want to remind you that I go live pretty much every week. There's an occasional week where I have to shift it to a different day, or I'm not actually live and I have a recording or something, or an emergency comes up. But I try to go live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time, and sometimes I do extra lives or extra recordings. Please make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, even though YouTube was not working today. Normally it does. Thumbs up would be great. Like, subscribe, all of that jazz. I appreciate it so much. And the prize winners today are Cheryl Whitesell and Terry Deason. Yay! Congratulations to you. I saw them announced. I'm going to wait till there they are, right there. I was going to wait till the announcement came up on my little iPad here. So now you can see the names. Terry Deason and Cheryl Whitesell. Make sure that you reach out to me at my email address, and I'll put that back up again. But congratulations, and Mary, yay. All right, we have lots of people shouting out yay, and oh, that's a different one. Thanks, Sharon. We have people saying congrats, yay winners, congratulations from Shirley. You guys are so sweet to each other. So here is the email address one more time. And thank you to those of you who gave me compliments about my hair and nails. I appreciate it. Again, links are below in the description of the video if you need them. But there's my email address. So prize winners, reach out to me at stampyourartout@comcast.net. Trisha, Lisa, I love you. Thank you so much for all your moderating that you did. And thank you to all of you who have joined me pretty much every week. My devoted class goers with me, and then newbies. Please say hello. We always love to welcome new stampers into our group. Don't forget about bonus days. Don't forget about the online exclusive release. Shop those, check them out. Country Hive sale, Stampin' Storage sale starting tomorrow. I hope that you all had fun. And now I would like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye, everyone.